Creating slimline cards is made easy when you have the right dies. You've been asking and we're so excited to launch these. Join me and we'll have some fun creating with these slimline dies. These are elegant. It's beautiful how they interact together. It is a tool that you will be reaching for over and over in your crafting toolbox to create those simple yet stunning cards. So let's dive in and get started creating two different variations of a slimline card. Now, I don't know if you've created these before or not, but there are some basic components. We have 6 different dies that you can mix and match and interact to create these beautiful masterpieces on slimline cards the easy way. These are specifically designed with your card base in mind, and we'll go through those 6 different dies. We have a slim, basic, and an eyelet. These are your basics. Think about it like the bread and sugar in your basic recipe. It's not glamorous, but it is the core piece that makes it simple, easy to do. And then we have the ta-da, the decorative pieces that really accent it and make it go from zero to hero in no time. So the die that we're going to be using first is going to be the Slim Lattice Oval. Now, when we create with a Slim Lattice Oval, this is more of, there's 2 pieces in this die. So this is more of a die that's a one and done, right? Simple yet elegant, and you can also piece it, do many different variations. Today, we're going to show you how to create a simple, elegant card base featuring an opening like this. So what we're going to do first is just cover some die cutting basics with this specific die. So we're going to go through and just put this on a card base, and I just cut it a little bit larger than the actual die. Now, since this is a very decorative piece, when you run this through your machine, you want to make sure that it is going lengthwise so that your roller is hitting it like this. So it's not just boom, boom, and it's off. So we're going to go ahead and lay this into our machine. With this one, you might want to use a shim. If you have shims that you use in your machine today, I'm just going to add a couple pieces of cardstock on top, run that through my machine, and we'll go ahead and cut that up. While that's going through the machine, I just wanted to, whoops, that's a little bit too thick for this one. I'm just going to take one shim off. Thank you for being patient with me as I run that through. Okay. Here we go. Whoops. I see what I'm doing wrong. I didn't have my plates lined up. There we go. Thought it was too thick, but it ended up I didn't have my plates level in front. So we'll see if we do need to add an extra shim in there just because it is more of a decorative die. So we'll see. It's so much fun. Oh, this is just beautifully die cut out. So you've got this center piece, then you can go ahead and brush out all those intricate die cut pieces, and you'll have a beautiful piece like this. Now, as you can see, the versatility and possibilities with this are endless, but it is specifically designed that you can just literally pop this onto your slimline card. Now, on this card, we did use the slim basic rectangle die for these matte pieces. So you can go ahead, cut out your card base, pop your oval on top, and then you can do 2 layers, you could do 3 layers, and that creates that basic piece, okay? So you can really kind of mix and match how you want to layer these together to create that basic opening, and paired with the decorative papers, it creates such a beautiful, elegant, one-of-a-kind card. Now, I did add some foam dots to the back of this card base, or this pattern paper, and we're going to layer this on top. Now, the ovals I did use to cut into this card opening were from our basic ovals. So if you don't have those yet, you can let us know in the comments and we can link that for you. But then from there, all you have to do is just go ahead, and if you wanted to have a gold accent, just look at how stunning that looks cut out in gold. Such rich elegance. So, so beautiful. Then you can just go ahead, glue these 2 pieces together, and all you have to do is layer this on top. Now, this is where I think the slimline dies just really shine. It is easy and simple to use. All you have to do is stamp your sentiment in the center, and then you could just mail this in a simple slimline envelope, or you can take it to the next level and add your florals. and decorate it how you want. But the simplistic beauty of this is it really just designs that background for you. It's done. You don't have to think about it. So that is something that's absolutely amazing. Now, going into the next set. So with the Slimline dies, we like to mix and match and create amazing beauty and intricacy on the background. And let's face it, you can choose whether you want to add flowers or not. Now, I know so many of us, we love to add flowers to our cards, but if you're looking for something that has that simple elegance, you could also just do the pattern papers, the decorative dies, stamp your sentiment, and send it off, right? So you get to choose how simple or complex you want to create this. Now, for this one, I did use a mixture of dies, and before we go into creating this one, I did want to flip through the stack of 6 dies to show you what you can create. So this is your slim basic rectangle die. With this dies, this is going to give you the straight cuts, and it layers all the way to the center. And one thing I want to really highlight is you can use these smaller pieces for sentiments and to layer those sentiments with the eyelet, which is absolutely amazing. You know, when you need to make those easel cards and you want to have like an anchor that holds it up, these tags are really great, especially those smaller ones. And what I mean by that is in this card, you see how you can cut an opening, have that sentiment, and then have that eyelet behind it, which is so perfect, simplistic, yet so elegant and beautiful. So that is the basics of the slim eyelet and the slim basic die. And then you have the die we just did. And then this is the curvy decorative border die. This one is so beautiful. It creates a fancy edge on the side of your card. And now let's face it, these dies are perfectly made for Slimline cards, but I am going to show you cards at the very end where we modified some that you can use it on other sizes as well. So don't just think just Slimline, however, they are specifically created with that in mind. So here you can do borders, fancy edges. You can mix and match these to do so many creative variations, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So that is with the curvy accent border die. And then we switch to the curvy decorative border die, which is absolutely stunning. So many beautiful borders. You can use these on cards, layouts, and all sorts of fun things. And then this one is absolutely stunning, and I love the versatility, the corners, the beauty, and how this interacts with the Slimline cards as well. So diving into this next card base, absolutely stunning and unique in the way we made that border go down the center, because typically, like you were seeing, is it can be used on, say, the edge of a card, right? Like that's a beautiful way to use it just like that. But today I'm going to show you just kind of a little bit of an advanced technique with this. So what you're going to do is you're going to cut out using the eyelet basics die, or the slim eyelet rectangle. You're going to use that, and you're going to cut out a section. Now you can choose the size that you want to work with, and then you're going to use one of the angles within this. Let me bring this up. This piece, you're going to use that 2 times, and you're going to make a cut down the bottom, and you're going to make another cut on the top to create that opening in the center, okay? Now, when you do this, you're going to want to do this in a very specific way, so there is a technique to this. You're going to take your gold piece and this pink piece, and you're going to die cut it out at the same time, okay? Now, when you do this, you can grab one sheet or both sheets, it really doesn't matter, and you can lay these down, and this gives you a section of where you're going to create and cut this die. So it kind of gives you a guide, okay? So what I want you to do, and this just gives you kind of like a pattern of where to lay this arch in, okay? You'll see what I mean when I start laying this down. You're like, oh, I see what you're saying. So I am going to go ahead and just make that my tape is not super sticky. We're going to pull this piece away, and I'm just going to pop some tape in here and down in here. And I'm also just going to just bring this up and just make sure that that gap is correct. Okay, I think I'm going to move that up just a little bit to just create. So you can put both of those pieces of paper down at one time if you want, or you can do one at a time, just make sure that that is positioned correctly. Okay. And then you can run that through. So this one just is an inset. If you wanted to have this lattice release from your paper, you would use this border die and cut on one side, both sides, whichever way you want. So that really maximizes the versatility with this. So we're just going to go ahead and line this up. I am going to offset the gold just a little bit because we do want to have that offset from our background, so we have a little bit of that gold shining through. And we're going to go ahead and run that through our machine. So if you are a crafter that loves the simplistic beauty and elegance of decorative dies, but you've been wanting and waiting and asking for a slimline version, this is it. So you can really maximize your creative potential with that and do so much with it, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I absolutely love. So what you're going to want to do is just bring this off. And I'm going to bring out my score tool. We'll just pop out these pieces and glue this together so you can see how this creates your card base. Now I did cut these pieces out using the Slim Basic Rectangle die, which is absolutely amazing because you don't have to do the measuring of where to add those pieces, which is so cool. And then you can just go back and you can layer this on top. You can do the offset, all that stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my glue and just go around these edges. And ta-da! And there you have that like gold outline piece. And if you wanted to, if you feel like, okay, this is offset too much around the edge here, what you can use is you can use your trimmer, or you can just use your scissors and just go ahead and like just trim that off, and you can use it on your card base. So that's just because of the offset that we have in the background. You can kind of guesstimate with it, but you can then just trim it, and this top piece will still be in the perfect order for you. So our next step is going to be just gluing this to our Slimline card base. So you can go ahead and just flip this upside down and layer it. I just love how simple yet elegant this is, and it comes together so quickly and easily. Now for our next step, there's a couple different ways that you can, you take this piece, you cut it apart like you see here. I'm just going to lay this on top so you can kind of see. You use that die I was showing earlier, and you cut once down here, you cut up here, and you have these two pieces. And then you're ready to layer these. Now, we did layer these with a gold piece, okay? And this you can cut it apart if you wanted to, but we're just going to go ahead and offset this on the gold and layer this on top to start with. And then we'll also do the bottom as well. It kind of creates that gold outline piece that adds a very nice element to the background, and it doesn't take a lot of time to do that. So this is just the beauty of just taking these really intricate dies, mixing and matching them to create different pieces and styles very elegantly, very beautifully. Okay. So there you have this piece. See how pretty that is? Now you could just go ahead and just layer that on top and you would be completely done, right? But if you wanted to add a sentiment, your flowers. So as you use these, kind of keep an eye open for different creative ways to die cut and piece these together. And I think you'll be so excited when you make those new discoveries in different ways that you can layer and line these up, which is so much fun. Now, with this one, we did cut it apart right in here and right down here, okay? And you'll see why in a little bit. It just extends that out just a little bit. I'm going to put one in here. If I'd be doing this just in my craft room, I'd add more foam dots. But for the sake of time, we're just going to keep it just like this. And we'll go ahead and bring this down on this side. Ta-da! And then you can go ahead and bring this in on this side, okay? Now, I did have, when I put it on my plate, I didn't have it lined up properly on my plate, so it should have cut out a little bit further. So just keep an eye out on that. I just didn't have my plate stacked properly, which I should have been watching. So just a little tip for you when you're doing it. So we're gonna go ahead and bring this piece in. There we go. So you've got that layered. Now, if you accidentally cut it like that, like I did, what I would do is I would bring my flowers down a little bit more. And then you can also always add a sentiment by stamping directly before you layer this, or you can also do it just as a tag afterwards. So your next step is going to be going back and taking these white borders and gluing those on top. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put that line right in here, so that you don't have to worry about where that glue is going. And we'll layer that on top. And then we'll also go back and do this down in here and bring this right on top. And you've got that beautiful, beautiful card base. And then you can just clip it where you desire. And mix and match those edges. Absolutely love how those turn out. So it's so simple yet so stunning, and just amazing how many different ways you can create with that, and then just add that beautiful flower on there and you're done. Isn't that so pretty? Just love how that turns out. So lots of variations just based on how you pair them together. And I'm going to finish out by showing you some samples on how they were used on some more slimline cards, but also how they were used on other card sizes. So you're not just looking at it like, oh my gosh, like I can only do it on slimline cards. We really work on creating versatility with your projects. So here's one where we use those eyelet rectangle basics, and then we cut the curvature into the card base. See how pretty that is? And you can always just do some beautiful design on the inside and on the outside as well. Here's another one using this beautiful circle piece. So this might be a design that you don't think of just off the top of your hat, but I used the basics and the eyelet, and then I just created this circle piece in the center. I flipped it one way and then I flipped it the opposite way and created this beautiful circle arch. Love how that design came out on a slimline card. With the slimlines, like I said, there's so many variations just based on how you die cut this. This is literally a beautiful piece that could also be used as a basket handle or as a belly band. But here it just graces the center of the card. You could also use it as a side of a card opening, but just again using those beautiful background papers, adding a couple flowers, using the background basics and the eyelet, stamping your sentiment, and you have a stunning yet simple card. And then if you wanted to, just using that first die that we had, just die cut that out, add a simple sentiment in the center along with those flowers, whether you're doing it in whites, golds, lots of variations. And then you can also, if you wanted to do like those decorative cuts, you can really mix and match and layer those to create lots of interesting pieces in the backgrounds for your cards. And I really love how this one just showcases the die we first used with flowers in the center instead of a sentiment, which really changes the looks of that one. Here's another one, just simplistic beauty with those dies, going along a slimline card, using those basics in the background, and then just pairing it with a beautiful flower. Here's one using the first die that we showed, creating a shaker, and then just kind of using more of the end pieces with this die, which is really pretty. And then here are some more cards that you don't want to miss. Like this one is so stunning. This is the one that I haven't showed you much of yet, but it is absolutely stunning. You can do embossing with it. You can do die cutting with it. You can make fancy envelope flaps, super pretty. And then here again is that card where you have just those decorative edges on the card front as well, which is super pretty. And then here's another smaller version of this card, going the opposite direction, stamping the best wishes. so adorable. And then here's another variation. So don't just think on one side, you can also create this beautiful center. You can cut and add the gold highlights, do some layers, and then add some decorative pieces around the edges. And those decorative pieces, we're using the decorative piece from this along with some basics, and then that curvature from this piece in here as well. So it's using these pieces. So hopefully this inspires you to create those one-of-a-kind slimline cards the easy way. It takes the mystery out of what do I put on the background and how do I add those fancy edges, mix, match, and layer them, but then also go back and use it on lots of different card sizes. And also these are perfect for those borders on scrapbooking pages, and even like adding photos or sentiment layers in your scrapbook pages. Can't wait to see what you create using these new Slimline dies. We have added the products below for quick and easy ordering if you don't have these yet. And hey, if you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to do so so that you do not miss out on our upcoming videos. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Bye.